Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this daily Hindu and Answer video in the morning. These videos come in the evening, the MCQ lessons they come. So both the lessons you need to follow here, and many articles we will discuss today. And in the mains examination, maximum questions are coming from these articles straight. And all the areas like economy, international relations, security issues and bilateral relations, everything is covered. So these are excellent points you can write directly in your mains answer writing. So that's why these are extremely important. And let's start the lesson. 60% off is going on. It's the perfect time to buy these courses, and you need to cover your static portion before December. So these are going to be very, very important. You should visit the website here. Chat section is available and you can call on these numbers. The given numbers are here. Pocket News app is trending on Google Play. You can download that, and all the description of these videos is given below the video, and these are the numbers there you can call. PDF you will get here on this Facebook group, and you will also find the Telegram channel there. So you can find me on Instagram too, and that's a link for Telegram channel. These are some words and phrases that I found today, and you can use that. First article is from Parliament. GS paper 2 would be important here. Here the writer says two problems. First was of disruption. Opposition parties were involved in disruption of the houses, and every time when these sessions were going on, many bills were not passed because all the time there were disruptions. So there were no constructive debates, and disruptions were blocking all these laws about the candidates, but they chose them because of the central leadership that they wanted to see. So after this kind of election, after this kind of majority, after this kind of organization of this house, there must be scrutiny by these select committees and the parliamentary standing committees. That's needed, and that is very much required. But this is the scenario in 2019 9 to 14. It was 15th Lok Sabha. 71% of these bills, they were sent to such committees. After that, in the 16th Lok Sabha, which ran from 14 to 19, the last one, where these numbers came to 1/4 of the overall number of bills, and this time you have seen out of 28, not a single bill they have sent to committees. What it shows? It shows that it's not a procedural democracy, and they are not following the procedure. And in this kind of condition, in this kind of unique condition, where it is all about the ruling party, their MPs are sitting there in maximum strength, but still we need much more scrutiny, and that is not happening. Next, the crisis in Yemen. We have been observing Yemen is going through the worst kind of humanitarian crisis in this world, but nobody cares. Why? Who will care? Big countries have this responsibility actually if any kind of crisis is happening in any part of the world, but here big countries are involved in creating this crisis. Saudi Arab led forces are fighting the Houthis group in Yemen. Houthis are ruling the northern portion of Yemen, including the capital city Sana'a, and the Saudi forces and led forces, which are STC group, they were fighting this group. Now in the southern part, where they were in dominance, STC has taken over aid in there. It's a coup, and they have turned against the Saudi-led government there. And now it's a tripartite scenario there. Houthis are ruling on the north. STC is demanding the independent south, just like it was before 1990. Before 1990, South Bloc was independent, and after that the unification of Yemen happened, and now this is the country. But now they are demanding again a independent south, and the third one is the Saudi supported government. Now this is the scenario. In this whole war, what we have seen, Saudi Arabia was supported by America. America sent all the weapons and all these, the biggest billion-dollar deals were signed, and all these weapons were given to Saudi Arabia, and those are fighting here. Means America is indirectly supporting this war. And in a series, many countries we have seen, they are destroyed in Middle East. Many countries we can name: Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Egypt. All countries were disturbed and some of them are totally devastated. Yemen is the worst of all, and 3 crore kids, they do not have anything to eat. This is the condition of average kid, you can see in the picture, but nobody cares. And now it's a unique situation. It's an example that when powerful forces are not able to control the war or any kind of conflict which they started. These are examples in front of us. There is example of Afghanistan in front of us. America is not able to evacuate itself peacefully from that area, and Taliban is ruling the country today. And here Saudi Arabia did its best, but the condition is totally against today. And these STCs, which were the Saudi-led forces, now they have turned against the Saudis' opinion also. So that's a unique condition. And who is at loss? Who is at loss? Here these kids are at loss, and they are losing everything. This was a very beautiful country, prosperous country, peaceful country, happy country, and now it is all a scenario of devastation all over the country. Totally, this country is devastated, and nothing to eat, nothing to wear, and it's a crisis-like situation. Summers are gone, and there is no support because government is not independent, and they are supported by the Saudi forces, and here these forces are routing each other. These weapons were used against Saudis. Saudis are against these people and the government, and they are fighting, and there is no conclusion, and consistently they are believing that they will win some kind of a war, but they cannot see that they have lost whole city, whole population. They have lost. What they are going to rule on? There will be no people in Yemen, only the piece of land will be there. So that is the issue, and these are details like Houthis are Shias, which are Iran supported. We all know about that. And Saudi Arabia claims that these are backed by Iran. Not officially, they say that we are backed by Iran, but these are Shia forces. So that's the case. And now it's a different situation, unique situation, where 3 claims are there on the land. So that is the situation, and that's why we call it war within war. GS paper 2 would be important. Essay topic, it can be, because it's a humanitarian crisis and nobody cares about that, and they are fighting. Still they are fighting, and without any conclusion. More and more complexities we are observing here. And where is the conscience? Where is the intelligence? Where is the evaluation? Where is the awareness of these humans who are fighting consistently and losing people every day? And kids, they cannot see any pain of these people. But why this is happening? Because these are bigger games, bigger countries are involved. These are proxy wars, and these are wars of egos, these are wars of dominance, these are wars of any nonsensical thing, which are demanding a lot of lives at cost. Okay, next, the contours of the Kashmir move. Here we have discussed this issue many times. GS paper 2 would be important here, 3 also would be important here. It's a security scenario also. Now see, Suhasini Haidar put some important points here. She says that this whole exercise, which could have been a modus vivendi, now it has become the Modi's vivendi. Means it's all central move, and central means it's centered on Mr. Modi. We all know about that decisions are taken by the central authority, and central authority is in hands with Mr. Modi. So that's why it's a Modi's vivendi. Now many claims, many protests, and many supports are there. People from India, they are supporting government's every move. We all know about that. It's a humongous victory in Lok Sabha elections, and even before that and now after that also, people are embracing every move by the government. Why? Because in every move they attach the quotient of Deshbhakti in that. So here the Kashmir, always sensitive issue, always we have seen troubles there, and now whatever they are doing, the time will tell. What will be the consequences? Time will tell. Yesterday I told you about the consequentialism that will be seen after years. But the issue of accountability is extremely important. But accountability is always based on true reports. So who knows what's happening there, what is going to be the consequence? We don't know about that, but people are embracing heavily. Now they say that there is a populism factor here, that people are with us. But how people are with us? Why government is saying that? Because they know whatever they will decide and whatever they will attach Desh Bhakti with, people will embrace that. They have seen many examples, like demonetization happened, then many other issues happened, and now this Kashmir issue happened. Populist decision, they say that it is. But were these people of India, apart from Kashmir, who are embracing the decision, did they know about this? No. Before that, they didn't know about that. So you cannot say it was a populist measure. They are just embracing it. But it is shown in the media like that, that people were always with this kind of decision. It is shown like that. So the populist factor is added into that. Next, Kashmir people, they did not know about that. India's people did not know about that. So it's a unilateral decision by the central government. That's apparent. Now people are embracing, that's why they are adding the quotient of populism here. So that is also a great factor. But it was a unique kind of populism where government knew about this support. They knew that people will support, obviously. So that's why it became a unique kind of populism factor here in this trend. So some factors are working in taking this decision by the central government. What are these? US-Afghan factor. You see, Trump and Imran Khan, they were meeting, and in that controversial meeting, a lot of issues were discussed. Trump said that the US counts on Pakistan to extricate it from Afghanistan. Taliban's key is with Pakistan, and that thing is known by America. America has decided this thing that anyhow, whether we need to take the support of Pakistan or not, anyhow, we will get Pakistan's support, and Taliban as a group which is ruling this area, de facto they are ruling this area, so we will influence that with the help of Pakistan. So that's why they are openly embracing Pakistan, because of this motive. And that's why even he proposed that I can mediate there, and Mr. Modi has requested me to mediate here on the issue of Kashmir. So that was a shocking thing. So that was a kind of a big shock for Pakistan, India and UN also. Now giving a reply to this scenario, very soon we have decided this issue. So we did not have much stakes there in the Afghan issue, and then America is turning towards Pakistan and they are deciding something about that, and the mediation issue was going on. So it was needed that we give a quick reply and we tell them that there is a fait accompli before a deal was concluded by America, Pakistan or something like that. So it was about to happen, that we needed to show them, and we showed it that we have our own sovereignty, we have our own decision making when it comes to Kashmir, and whatever area we are administering today, although we are claiming the whole Kashmir, but whatever area we are administering, we can do anything about that, and that is going to be our own decision there, that we have shown here. So this was the factor working there. Next factor, UN's limited impact. If we take some example here, it starts from 2014 when Russia annexed Crimea, and after that General Assembly resolution was there, but they could not take any action. Although the countries, they brought America brought these economic sanctions and all, but it was not much impact by UN as a system. Next, when US decided that countries should accept Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, that was also a unique issue. Countries heavily opposed that move. It's a very controversial area, it's a holy place, controversial area, and Israel-Palestine issue is not settled. So you cannot take this issue unilaterally towards one side. This was the opinion of all the countries for America, but it did that deliberately with all force, and still they are maintaining that. And here UN could not do anything. Any action was not taken by UN. So it shows all the limited impact of UN's authority, and they cannot take any action. Although they say many things, they can bring many resolutions, but these are of no force. Similar things happened when Israel bombed Gaza, and some issues were there in West Bank. Some capturing was there by Israel, so that was the problem. Issues was there in Tibet, in Xinjiang province, by China, that it was taking some unilateral decisions there. So many issues were discussed in UN as a body, but no action was taken, and it was seen that UN is not a action taking body, and when these bigger countries are deciding something on their own, then it cannot oppose much. In the similar way, in July 14 we said that government of India declared that UN military observer group in India and Pakistan, set up in 1949, had outlived its utility, and we asked it to vacate its premises in Delhi. So that was intentional and that was direct. And then in September 16, when the Uri attacks were there, then government publicly announced that it had crossed the LOC, and then these surgical strikes were there, and then the Balakot happened. Then also openly we said something that we have crossed the borders. Pakistan also did something here inside our borders. So these things were all open, and UN could not do much about that. So the inability and the less impactfulness of UN also triggered this move that we can go ahead. Okay, so UN's limited impact was also a role, and the trend, as I told you, the Modi's Vivendi and the populism factor that was seen, that is also totally evident. Turkey's Tayyip Erdogan, Tayyip Erdogan, the Turkish president, he said something few days back. He said he actually was targeting the opposition there, which were there as a political minority. Not much support is there. So he said something that was very much against the democratic principle. But he said so. Why? Because majority rules today. Whoever or whichever party is having a majority, is having bigger numbers in democracy, that is going to do anything that will be enjoyable by that party, and the minority or the opposition, that will have to suffer there because they do not have numbers. So if you have majority with you, that means you have not to care about the opposition there or the people who are not supporting you. It is not a responsibility at all, and this is openly claimed by all the leaders who are enjoying the majority support today, whether we talk about Turkey, India, America, or anywhere. So Erdogan said, we are the people, who are you? That was the sentence. Means we have the majority of the people is with us, so we are the people, who are you? But you always see that when votings happen, then these ruling parties, they do not have more than 50, 60, 70% of the votes. So that means at least 30-40% people are not wishing for them to become the rulers, but still they say these kind of sentences. So that's why they take unilateral decisions, because people will embrace them, and the people, the majority who is embracing these kind of leaders, they are heavily embracing them. They are blindly supporting them. So that is the scenario in America, that is the scenario in India, that is the scenario in Turkey, Venezuela, or France, anywhere. So that's the new trend we have been observing here. So populist moves worldwide, such actions are authorized by the people, and therefore no blame accrues to the government if anything goes wrong. So even in the issue of Kashmir, if something goes wrong in the future, like some negativities are there, which are the possibilities, like violence in the Kashmir that may rise, and people will protest against the property issues, because now outsiders can buy the property. So this issue will be protested a lot, even by the Ladakhis, because they also do not want that their land is sold to outsiders. So that can be a scenario. Next, impact of worsening India-Pakistan ties on Kartarpur corridor, that can be a possibility. Kulbhushan Jadhav's case and transport arrangement between the two countries. So these things can be a negative consequences. These are the possibilities. So anything if goes wrong, then they would say that people were with us. We were not alone deciding on the issue. Although they have decided unilaterally on this issue and people have embraced it, but they will say that people were with us. So it was not our decision. It was the will of the people that we executed there. So that's the thing. In all the countries, these kind of things are said. So it is called the real politic. Means if you have the majority, that means the strong would do what they can, and the weak suffer what they must. Why they must suffer? Because they do not have numbers in the democracy, and that's the negative side of the democracy that we have been observing, because it is not ideal. It is not based on the democratic principles. This is based on numbers, and this is based on the support, and support of the majority can be based on something very, very misleading or something very, very false. People may believe some false things. Majority of the people may be believing on some wrong promises, or they may be believing someone blindly. This can be a possibility always. Okay, so it is not evidence that all the governments are perfect which are supported by heavy majority. It is not the case. Maybe people are fooled by some leader. This may be a possibility. Okay, I'm not saying that this is the scenario, but it may be a possibility, and that's why the real politic, which is a Greek word, and this issue, the strong would do what they can. This is not correct. This is morally very, very wrong. And here they are only taking care about the majority opinion. What about the minority there? Minority can be anyone, any group, and they may belong to different religion, they may belong to the same religion, but due to their different political opinion, they can become a minority. So that is why here this issue is morally very, very wrong, and here they may ask you a mains question based on this issue. Okay, so they are justifying today that a lot of investment would come, and this Kashmir region would usher in a new age of prosperity. So these kind of things are all dreams. They have shown us many, many dreams. What's going to happen? Time will tell us. But this way, which is developed all over the world, this is not good at all. And the consequences of this not good thing can be drastic, can be very, very wrong. And they will not even take this responsibility, and this accountability issue is totally missing today. There are many, many divergences, there are many, many deflections. So in the future there may be a confusing situation. That is also a possibility, but we have to hope for the best. We have to hope for something better, and we hope that all these dreams are going to be true in the future, and there will be employment, there will be positive phase of investment and the prosperity in Kashmir region, and people will live very happily, and they will respect each other. Diversity will be maintained, and the issue of Kashmiri Pandits will also be solved. We can hope that, and we should hope that. But the writer is talking about all the important issues which are giving impact to this decision, and they actually kicked this decision by the government. Next, writing out a clean bill on health. National Medical Commission Bill has become an act, and now it's a great thing. It's a new era. After we have seen a lot of corruption in the medical education issue and the medical practitioners issue, we have seen today in the newspaper that 57.3% allopathic practitioners are not qualified. This is the report by Health Ministry. So that is the scenario in this country. So we need to do something about the health sector in this country. So it will start from the medical education, and it will go till the practicing the medicine there. Now they gave us NEET examination. Now they are talking about the next examination. Both are protested. So there are some primary concerns, 5 important concerns regarding this bill given by the media. NEET and next test, as there are different regions. The education is not universal in this country. There are different types of forms of educations in different states. So now they are going to fight universal examinations. So obviously there can be many issues. But in the medical field, there must be a standard. There must be a basic level that is known to all the candidates. So that is a necessary thing. So I will not oppose this move. Second, empowering of the community health providers. That can be a problematic thing, because quacks may get the license there. Because here what is happening, government will give license to non-medical people who will take care of the primary and the community health aspect. Means they will practice like doctors there, but these are not actual doctors. So they will be given training or something like that. And one more issue which will be attached with it, that they will be on contract and they will not be permanent as it is seen, and permanent employment is very scarce in this country today. Many doctors which have done their courses, they are unemployed today, and they will be able and they will demand to be there in these villages, because villages need these doctors today. 27,000 doctors are maintaining 6.5 lakh villages in this country. So there is a huge demand, and there is a difference. If there is one doctor in the rural area, then there is 3.8, there are 3.8 doctors in urban area. So that is the average number there. So it's more than 3.5 times. That's a big gap, and it's a big difference. So that's why in rural areas they need doctors. But who wants to go in rural areas? Only those people who are unemployed and who want a permanent employment. But this would not be a permanent employment for sure. Why? Because we have seen where they will give one permanent employment in the same salary. They will keep 5 people on contract basis, and they will take the similar service from these people, and 5 people, when they will get some job, then they will also be happy. Although it is not a permanent employment, but they were having nothing and they will get some employment there. So this move will be supported politically for sure. Although this is not given in the article here, but I read it somewhere in another article. So this issue is crucial here, and those people who have done MBBS and they will not have any problem serving in the rural areas, they would also want to go there, but they will demand a permanent employment, because they have invested a big amount of their life, like 6 years they have invested in the MBBS degree, and if now they do not have any permanent employment, then they will be very much miffed with that scene where permanent employment is not there. So there can be a tussle, and that's why it is heavily protested that we are doctors here, we are not having any permanent employment, and here you are allowing non-medical people to serve there just like doctors. Third, regulating fees only for 50% seats in the private college. That is the provision. This was not there in the Indian Medical Act of 1956, and here this would be the provision in the new act, but this is also contested here. Next, reducing the numbers of elected representatives in the commission. Why? Because 25 members will be there, and directly or indirectly the authority would be there with the central government. So there are overriding powers of the center, and the authority is also there with the center. They will appoint the people. So that means it is all the case of centralization. States are opposing it very heavily. Why? Earlier there were many medical colleges established by the state governments, and states have their own medical education there, and these medical colleges were going on. So they were having a lot of authority and powers. Now they all are gone. All the issue is universalized, and the powers are there with the central government. So it is against the federal feature. So even in the NMC bill also, there are issues and questions of federal aspects, and how powers can be taken from state to center. And this centralization which is going on in many sectors, in many bills we have seen, even in the motor vehicles bill, we have seen that more centralizing tendencies are there in the bill. So these are obviously protested by the states there. So these 5 points are important. Next, one nation, one examination. They have introduced by introducing NEET and next, but it is necessary. Although the issues of regional education is there, as I told you that in India education is not universal, so this can be an issue, but it is needed also. One nation, one exam is also needed. One single standard in the medical field is needed. Next, as I told you, the scarcity of the doctors in the rural areas. A humongous gap is there. As I told you, 27,000 doctors are maintaining 6.5 lakh villages of the country. So that's the problem, and nearly 80% of the allopathic doctors in the rural areas are without a medical qualification. So that's why we need to tackle this issue, and government is trying this thing in this NMC Act. So how they are going to execute those things, we have to see. Evidences from China, Thailand and UK shows such integration results as better health outcomes, and this was tested in Chhattisgarh and Assam also. And community health workers, they brought a better health scenario in these areas, especially in the rural areas. So it was a good decision. So if it is applied in the same way, and if it gives similar kind of outputs, then it's a good thing. Next, reducing entry barriers for setting up medical colleges, because merit will be important now. They can control the 50% of seats and their fees and other charges. So it's a good thing. So that is maintained. Second thing, there will be ratings for these colleges, means it will be very easy to evaluate them, and more colleges we will see. So more support will be there for the rural students, more vacancies will be there. So it is going to be a great issue. Next, representation in the NMC. That can be a problematic thing, because people will be appointed by the central government, and overriding powers are the issues. So some issues are there, both kind of opinions are there. Some things are needed, so they are giving a positive opinion about the bill, and some questions are there that I told you, these 5 prime concerns, which are giving some negative opinions about the bill. So you have to write a mains question on that scrutinize the new NMC bill. What are the new additions as solutions, and what are the existing challenges? So thanks a lot. We will meet again tomorrow. Some scheduling issues are there, so we will take other things tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Keep watching. It was Amit Sen.